Hey guys, Dan Skolovy here, pokerlistings.com. Today we're going to talk about pocket pairs and 6-max no limit hold'em. Obviously 6-max and pocket pairs go hand in hand. Pocket pairs are very profitable hand to be played in a 6-max game. 2s through aces, I mean, they're all going to show a positive expectation when you recognize the profitable situations to play them, and you steer clear of the unprofitable ones. As always, we'll take a look at a few examples. First one, we got pocket sixes on the button, and like most, I mean, all pocket pairs and like most hands you play in 6-max, you don't want to limp. I mean, limping only gives you one way to win. You have to have the best hand at showdown. When you raise, you can win the pot immediately. You can win the pot at the best hand at showdown. You can win the pot on the flop with a continuation bet. There's just more ways to win you when you raise, so you shouldn't ever be limping in a 6-max game. So when it's folded to you and you have a pocket pair, obviously bring it in for a raise. So then when the flop comes, you just play poker like you would any other thing. Okay, there's only one over card. Your opponent checks. May as well continuation bet it like you would the bulk of your range on this type of flop, and your opponent folds, and that's that. The bulk of the value that pocket pairs has comes from when you flop sets and you stack your opponent. So they're kind of a speculative hand. They're an implied odds hand. Yeah, you will win pots at showdown unimproved, but you're never going to be winning big pots at showdown unimproved with a small pocket pair. That just rarely happens. So you're usually calling in hopes to catch a flop where you flop a set and then you can stack the guy. We'll look at this hand. Under the gun raises to $4. I mean, 3-betting, there's no merit. Why bother? He goes $4. You may as well just see a cheap flop, hope to flop a set, and hope to stack him. There's no point in turning your hand like pocket fives, which has a lot of value from seeing the flop, into a bluff. So obviously we just call. We do flop a set. He checks, or big blind checks. Pre-flop raiser bets $6 into 13. We of course raise, hoping to build the pot and get money in so we can stack him. He calls, and the turn brings the 3 of spades. At this point, he donks into us again, and of course, we're trying to win his stack. If we call now, there'll be $99 in the pot, and we'll have about 140 on the river. So it'll be tough to get stacks in. So we choose to try and raise again, build the pot so we can win his stack, and he folds. An unfortunate result, but that's what you want to have happen with the pocket pair. You want to flop a set. Well, that's not what you want to have happen because you want to win his stack, but I mean, you get the idea. Now, pocket pairs are strong, but they're not so strong that you can just call any sort of 3-bet. When you're 100 BB deep, if you raise and you're 3-bet, if you're out of position, you should probably just fold because you're not getting the implied odds you're not getting the immediate odds to call for set value in hopes to stack him. And there's also a chance that you do call, flop a set, and then you don't stack him because he just doesn't have a hand that he can stack off with. So basically, when you're out of position and you raise and you are 3-bet, you're probably just better off folding your small pocket pairs, just because you're not gonna flop a set and stack him enough. You're not gonna win with the best hand at showdown because he's just gonna continuation bet, and you're gonna be out of position and guessing, and be forced to fold. Now that said, of course you can call 3-bets with pocket pairs, but generally you're going to want to do it with the bigger pocket pairs because those do have the more showdown value, right? So like the small pocket pairs, all of their value comes from, or most of their value comes from flopping a set. The bigger pocket pairs, 7, 8s, 9s, 10s, etc., they can win it unimproved at showdown, so you can be a little bit more liberal in calling your 3-bets, especially when in position. When you're in position, the whole world's open to you. You can bluff him on a later street. You can win with a better hand at showdown. There's just like you're not as guessing as much when you're out of position. So we'll look at this hand. We raised to $8 from the cutoff. We get a caller on the button, and then the small blind squeezes. Now, if we had pocket fives here, we're probably just going to fold, even though it is against a squeezer and a button call. A lot of players like to re-raise light in the spot where it's like an aggressive player raises and then another aggressive player calls on the button. Neither of them are showing too much strength because I, for example, am going to be raising a lot of my hands, and if Platypus can't re-raise me, then his hand isn't that great either. So they can steal our $16 combined. So he re-raises, and because of the squeeze, there's a chance we could re-raise, but we don't really want to get it all in pre-flop. So I think we decide to just call and let our position dictate the rest of the hand. And Platypus ends up calling as well, and Mike checks, and we have flopped the set, so obviously we're gonna bet it. Now the board's fairly dry. I mean, Jack 10's the only real draw we're afraid of. King Jack's a gut shot, but I don't think either player has King Jack. Jack 10 might be 3-bet pre-flop, but he could have Ace King or Ace Queen, etc. So we bet $55. Platypus folds, and unfortunately Mike folds as well. So he could have had Ace King. He could have been squeezing pocket 5s or 6s. Unfortunately, we don't know. But the idea of this hand is that when you're in position and you are 3-bet, you can see a lot more flops, and you because you're going to be in position, and your post-flop skill is going to come into play a lot more than when you're out of position and playing a guessing game. So that's pretty much it, guys. I mean, obviously that's not every situation that you can come across playing pocket pairs, but you got to use some sort of common sense. I mean, you have some poker sense, right? So use it. Like when it's folded, you play them like you would any other hand. Seize the initiative with a raise. You're going to win the pot either immediately or like on the flop with a continuation bet so often that like right there you'll turn a profit. And then add into that when you stack the guy, when you like flop a set and then stack the guy, then I mean it should be pretty obvious why pocket pairs are like such a pristine hand in 6-max. Now when you're up against a raise, you're best off just calling and seeing a flop and playing for that set value. I mean, when you're in position, you will still have some of that showdown value, but you're kind of like hoping to flop a set and you have that showdown value to fall back on. When you're out of position, though, that's where pocket pairs actually go down in value because they have a lot less set value and they have a lot less showdown value. Like 2s through 8s are almost all the same when you're out of position because rarely are you going to see a showdown because you're out of position and your opponent controls the hand, right? So he's going to be betting and forcing you to fold so often that you're rarely going to see showdowns. So then you have to rely more on set value, and those times that you do flop a set, your opponent may not have a hand that he can call off his stack with, and or he may have a hand that he can call off his stack with, and he just won't because he gets away from his hand, which is why it's extremely hard to turn profits out of position against raises, and especially against 3-bets. If you have a small pocket pair and you're 3-bet and you're out of position, just fold it. You're not going to be turning a profit when you're 100 BB deep. But yeah, guys, just play it like you would any other hand. Just think you're focusing on making good poker hands. Obviously, the best for pocket pairs are sets that turn into full houses, and but they do have showdown value. So don't forget that. Like I mean, if you have 8s and it comes Jack high and your bet, you're not gonna just like fold, be like, oh, I don't have a set, I can't play. I mean, there's only one overcard, so you're gonna call in those positions, or you're just gonna play poker, and you hope to flop a set. And that's the goal because those are the big pot hands. In 6-max in any no limit hold'em game, your goal is to make big pot hands where you can play and win the other guy's stack. And that's why pocket pairs are so good because they flop sets and they flop full houses and they make huge hands that you're willing to go to war with stacks with. And when you go to war for stacks with sets, you're going to win your opponent's stack more often than they're going to win yours. So that's it for this week, guys. Good luck at the tables. Come back later.